Good afternoon, and welcome to our concert this afternoon, coming to you from the Blue Room at Canterbury Woods. Our concert this afternoon is music performed and recorded by two members of the famous Rat Pack. The Rat Pack, most of you will remember, was comprised of 5 A-list celebrity friends: Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., and then 2 others. And right now you're all trying to remember who those 2 others were. Peter, that's right, Peter Lawford, and Joey Bishop. According to a famous and well-preserved story, these 5 friends arrived at the dinner party at the New York home of Lauren Bacall and Humphrey Bogart after a previous night in Las Vegas. Lauren Bacall took one look at the group and said, "You guys look like a damned Rat Pack." The name stuck. Joey Bishop and Peter Lawford, of course, didn't sing, so the Rat Pack singers were Frank, Dino, and Sammy. And this afternoon we have famous songs of Dino and Sammy, and we'll start with Dino. Since I had already done a concert of Frank Sinatra songs, I started at that time thinking of doing a concert of songs by the Rat Pack singers minus Frank, which means, of course, Dino and Sammy. And we'll start with Dino. Dino Paul Crocetti. Dino was his given name. He was born in 1917 in Steubenville, Ohio. After leaving school in the 10th grade, he worked as a shoeshine boy and a gas station attendant before becoming a welterweight boxer, earning $10 a fight. When he retired from the boxing arena, he became a croupier at a local casino. His first singing job was in 1941 with the Sammy Watkins Band, where he was billed as Dino Martini. The last name, Martini, didn't stick, and his official name was soon changed to Dean Martin. He recorded several songs with the Sammy Watkins Band that were minor successes, but his career really got started in 1946 when he met Jerry Lewis. And they combined their skills as comedians with Dino's skill as a singer into a very, very successful act in nightclub presentations, in radio programs, television appearances, and several films over the next 10 years. In addition to its own success from 1946 to 1956, the Martin and Lewis Act also secured Dean Martin's reputation as a legitimate triple threat entertainer: a singer of romantic ballads, a solid, reliable supporting actor, and even lead actor in both comedy and serious dramatic films, and a first-rate comedian in his own right. There'll be more about Dino's career later. Right now, let's start our music concert with 4 of Dean Martin's most popular and lasting hits. For our first song this afternoon, we jump ahead to 1958. Dino's singing career, which had blossomed since the middle of the Martin and Lewis years, is slowing down markedly due largely to the remarkable success of rock and roll and what was called at the time the British invasion, which of course included the Beatles and many other rock and roll groups from the British Isles. Domenico Modugno and Franco Migliacci wrote a song in Italy and entered it into the Eurovision Song Contest and into the 8th Sanremo Music Festival. It won both awards. First place, Blue Ribbon. Modugno's recording was the 1959 Grammy Award winner, both for Record of the Year and for Song of the Year. Mitchell Parrish wrote English lyrics to it, and Dino recorded it immediately, half in Italian and half in the new lyrics written in English by Mitchell Parrish. It became his signature song for the rest of his career and his most successful hit. The name in Italian was Nel blu dipinto di blu. The name we know it as is Volare. Here it is, Dean Martin's famous Volare, the song that was his signature song and his most successful hit. Thank you. Thank you. Our second song is just about as famous as a Dino song. The title is That's Amore, and it was written by a group of Americans in 1953, Harry Warren and Jack Brooks. It was written for the Martin and Lewis comedy film, The Caddy. Jerry Lewis commissioned Warren and Brooks to compose several songs for that film, and allegedly paid them an extra $30,000 secretly to make one of those songs sound like an Italian organ grinder song that would be just right for Dean Martin's voice. The song was nominated for an Oscar for Best Original Song, but it lost to Doris Day's Secret Love from Calamity Jane. Dino's recording of the song after the release of the film was his first real hit and became a signature song until it was eclipsed by Volare, and even then lasted as a secondary signature song throughout Dino's career. According to Italian music critics, That's Amore in the early 1950s was one of many songs from the early 50s that helped rehabilitate Italy's image as a land of magic and romance that had been badly damaged by the fascist rule of Benito Mussolini. So the Italians, the Italian country, the people of Italy thanked Dino Martin for That's Amore, and so do we. Here it is, Dino's second signature song, That's Amore. Thank you. Now we'll switch to the clarinet for this next one. After the breakup of the Martin and Lewis Act in 1956, Dino launched his solo singing career looking for just popular songs that were songs that appealed to him, that he thought he could sing with his voice, making beautiful music. And one that he picked was a romantic song composed by Harry Warren, the same composer who wrote That's Amore. This one some 20 years earlier than That's Amore. Its title was I Only Have Eyes for You. It was composed in 1934 with lyrics by his old songwriting partner Al Dubin rather than Jack Brooks. It was written for the film Dames and was introduced in the film by Dick Powell. It was one of the songs from the American Songbook that Dino recorded in the 50s when he started his solo singing career following the breakup of the Martin and Lewis team, and one of the several popular songs that became minor successes for his solo singing career. Here it is, with my clarinet doing its best to sound like Dino. I Only Have Eyes for You. Thank you. Thank you. Now the fourth one of Dino's beautiful songs, Bésame Mucho. Bésame Mucho is a bolero written in 1940 by a Mexican songwriter, Consuelo Velázquez. It's considered one of the most popular songs of the 20th century, and Mexican fans will say of all times. It's also one of the most important hymns in the history of Latin music, and it's also the most recorded and most covered song in Spanish of all time. An English lyric was written by Sonny Skylar. It's one of the most famous boleros ever written and was recognized in 1999 as the most sung and recorded Mexican song in the world. The song has appeared in several films, including a film entitled The Cowboy and the Senorita in 1944, when the vocal was performed by Dale Evans. Dino recorded it in 1962 for an album entitled Dino Latino. Here it is, Bésame Mucho. Thank you, thank you. Now it's Sammy's turn. Samuel George Davis Jr. was an American singer, dancer, actor, vaudevillian, and comedian, whom critic Randy Blazer called the greatest entertainer ever to grace a stage in these United States. He was born in New York City, December 8, 1925. At the age of 3, he joined his father, Sammy Davis Sr., and his godfather, Will Maston, in their vaudeville act and dance troupe. He started dancing at the age of 3 in the dance troupe. He appeared in his first film at the age of 8 and continued to tour with the Will Maston Trio until he was drafted in 1943. The Will Maston Trio was a trio of dancers: his father, his godfather, and Sammy. In 1943, when he was drafted, the trio broke up and didn't get back together until the war was over and Sammy came home. In his early days in the Army, he was seriously abused and beaten up by white soldiers from the South. His nose was broken many times and permanently flattened. He later said, "I must have had a knockdown, drag-out fight every 2 days." Eventually, his talent as an entertainer was recognized, and he was reassigned to the Army's Special Services branch to put on performances for troops. During one of his shows, he was performing in front of soldiers who had previously abused him, and he found that they were applauding with genuine delight. He later said, "I discovered that my talent was my weapon, my only power, the only way for me to fight back, the one way I could hope to affect someone's thinking." After his discharge from the Army, Davis rejoined the Family Dance Act, which played at clubs first around Portland, Oregon, and later in Los Angeles. On March 23, 1951, the Will Maston Trio appeared at Ciro's as the opening act for headliner Janice Page. It was the night of the Oscar Awards. Ciro's was not far from the venue that year for the Oscar Awards, and the club was filled with celebrities after the awards were over. The trio was scheduled to perform for only 20 minutes. But the reaction from the celebrity-filled crowd was so enthusiastic, especially when Davis launched into his impressions, that they performed for over an hour, the audience constantly calling for them to return. After that night, Sammy began to achieve more and more success on his own and was singled out for praise by critics, and he released several albums. In 1959, he left the trio for good and became a member of the Rat Pack. Frank Sinatra was now supported by 2 very talented comedians, both with impeccable timing, and the chemistry seemed to be perfect. All three continued to pay attention to independent careers while keeping up an amazing schedule of Las Vegas performances together as a team, as a pack. One of the first songs that Sammy performed with the Rat Pack is a popular 1926 song composed by Ray Henderson, with lyrics by Buddy DeSilva and Lou Brown. It was used in the Broadway revue entitled George White's Scandals of 1926, and in the film in 1941 called The Birth of the Blues, where it was sung by Bing Crosby. And some of you may have seen it in season 3 of House of Cards, where it was performed by President Frank Underwood, played by Kevin Spacey. Sammy recorded it in 1959, shortly after joining the Rat Pack. He performed it frequently thereafter in his Rat Pack performances, and with other than his Rat Pack performances. Birth of the Blues became one of his favorites. And for the Birth of the Blues, we have to change back to the saxophone. Good. The next one, title is Old Black Magic. A great song, a very popular song, written by Harold Arlen. Harold Arlen is the composer who wrote Over the Rainbow. Old Black Magic lyrics written by Johnny Mercer. Arlen and Mercer teamed up on many songs, and this was one of their best, along with, probably right up there with it, My Mama Done Told Me There's Blues in the Night. They wrote it for the 1942 film Star Spangled Rhythm. Mercer claims that he wrote the lyrics with Judy Garland in mind. It was first released as a single by Glenn Miller in 1942, and immediately after that, still in 1942, as another single, this one by Judy Garland. The song was nominated for the Academy Award for the Best Original Song in 1943, but it lost out to You'll Never Know. You'll never know just how much I love you. Sammy Davis Jr.'s swinging, upbeat recording was released 12 years later in 1955 by Decca Records. It charted immediately and spent 6 weeks on the Billboard charts, peaking finally at number 16. Here it is, one of Sammy Davis Jr.'s favorites, that Old Black Magic. Thank you. Okay, back to the clarinet.
Too close?
Good.
Okay.
Now this is one that Sammy sang and recorded pretty straight. Not any of his special little gimmicks. A very clever, beautiful little song that was written by Richard Adler and Jerry Ross for the movie Hey There. The movie Pajama Game. The title of the song, Hey There, You with the Stars in Your Eyes. And here it is. Hey There. Hey There from Pajama Game. Rockabye Your Baby with a Dixie Melody. It was written in 1918 And you're all thinking you know now who it was written for. Al Jolson, for the Broadway musical Sinbad. And Jolson recorded it, the first one to record it, in 1918. And it was covered by many, many others, including Dean Martin in 1950, Jerry Lewis in 1956, Judy Garland in 1965, and then again in 1960, and Aretha Franklin in 1961. Sammy recorded it in 1966. He sang it frequently in his live shows, both with and without the Rat Pack. And he included it in his live album, That's All, released in 1966. Here it is, Rockabye Your Baby, with a Dixie melody. Now, if any of you have ever seen a live performance of Sammy Davis Jr., you have a good idea of what he could do with a song like that. I've never seen Sammy live in person, but I've seen several of his live shows live in front of an audience. And when he got moving, when he got going, he was just an amazing entertainer.
Great.
Now we're going to conclude with a song that Sammy really made his own. You could tell by the way he sang this that he really felt he was singing a message of his life. The name of the song is For Once in My Life. It was written by Ron Miller and Orlando Murden for Motown Records, and it was first recorded in 1965. It was written and first recorded as a slow ballad and released in 1966 by Jean Deschamps and sung often after that as a slow ballad. Tony Bennett sang it as a slow ballad, and it was the first, Tony Bennett's was the first to reach the pop charts. The most familiar and successful version For Once in My Life was an up-tempo arrangement by Stevie Wonder, recorded in 1967. And Frank Sinatra and Stevie Wonder arrangements and presentations were famous and well-liked. And then Sammy did it and performed it every time he formed it as if it were his own. Here it is. We have to change to the saxophone. For Once in My Life. All right, thank you. Thank you very much for being here. I want to thank Keith Chase for recording this so that you can see it broadcast, and Lois Laveau for helping me put it together. Thank you both very much. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you in about 4 more weeks. Thank you.
Stay put. Stay put.